Is she okay? Yeah. All right. Is Carol okay? Oh, yeah.
No, you don't have to go. I just
saw
didn't know if
her
you looked.
sitting there looking. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's like her mom.
Is that what you're? It's coming from that.
Oh, the middle. It's the double.
Just the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming from this one closest
Doing our
to it.
own time delay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have your meeting for the rest of the-
Lovely.
Well, that's just in case you forgot what you were saying. Hold on a second, pick up where you left off.
Got all distracting for a second.
We'll remind you. to do that. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, let's just stop talking about it. Need to figure that one out. Just has not hit a priority list yet.
You're good.
Talk for 6 o'clock. I'll just call the order back to you. Anything you need to say at the beginning of
Do
it.
you want me to describe it as long as I can? If not,
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah.
Because I tried to hike the other day and it was so muddy.
On PC. Yeah. That was fun. I'll text you guys when I'm gonna do it, because I usually do it at 1:20 and then I'm done by 2. Hey, Jerry, my camera is not working. When I go to the honey, I shoot at the top. I can see the black with the white around it, but it's, I don't really, you know, it's been sitting there. Do I need to do something with it to wake it up? It, on the bottom, it says install and relaunch.
That's Aiden's.
What's going on with the
Oh, I've already started.
tables? Something's off.
Annie felt like she wasn't close enough to you,
Hi.
so
Did you
she
push the
asked.
chair away?
No, I got close to this week.
Doesn't it feel like it's different?
Yeah.
well, you're just missing one.
Which will,
I like that you know
we
it.
do that.
Go get it.
No,
Walk
but we
into this
should run
room.
one more.
Here's the also. So she pops scissors, she's.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
She thinks she'll show me the same thing that she's trying to.
That's great.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Like your shirt.
Thank you.
I love that.
How was your weekend?
Wait, what is that?
The weekend was good. I was in Austin.
I know, you sent me photos.
Yeah,
That
great.
was from where?
Austin.
It's our music festival.
I went and saw my parents live there. I went and saw a concert, but my parents live there,
Oh,
so.
no, I like it that way.
My nephew lives there after
Oh,
college.
wait,
so
okay.
it's tiny. Yeah.
It's, there's a lot happening there. There's some great, great restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, like the cool thing about it is, it's like for a city, it's pretty clean and safe right now for the most
And
part.
did you say I need to mute this young lady?
Which is kind of
On the.
unique these days.
He just got into the housing market too. I mean, a little outside of Austin, so it's too expensive. But
Yeah.
It was a good investment.
And it did. Okay.
That's how we felt about Boston when we were there. Boston was so clean.
I like to see it.
I love it so much.
Okay, I'll wait for, oh gosh. Okay, sorry, guys.
Oh, I could have done it, but we were one short, so I just had to.
Mr. Tanner, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Excellent.
These are slick.
It is.
All right, I'll wait for everybody else to come back in and then we'll get this ball rolling.
She give you her.
Oh, yeah.
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
You got the order.
Real dream.
We are looking into. Yes, I have to think more often. Sometimes.
Oh, thanks, Todd.
No, I didn't. She still has her.
She would be after you.
Do that. I can do cheers for the best.
I need to hang out for just a second.
Okay, I will do whatever Lori needs me to wait for a second, then we'll get this going.
Technology.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, bud.
Oh, yeah, you saw that for 44 billion. Yeah, I saw that today. Wow.
That's insane.
Who knew that that's what Twitter would be?
I know, right? And please don't let me leave Kira here because I can see myself just walking up like normal.
She'll probably stay in there all night. I'm in my office.
All right, we'll call to order the special session of the Park City School Board on April 25th at 5:30 p.m. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So tonight we will start with a board member appointment and then actually have that board member take the oath of office. So start there. First off, before we move forward, I wanted to say thank you to all three of the candidates that put your names in the hat coming last week. Thank you. It's not always easy putting yourselves out there, so we appreciate you doing that and then coming back this evening. So first off, I will see if I could get somebody to put a motion on the floor for one of the candidates.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. I agree with Aaron. I think the candidates were excellent. I think it's great to have 3 people volunteering their time when we need it. And, you know, it's definitely big shoes to fill. And I wish we weren't doing this process right now, unfortunately. But I thank you guys for stepping up and volunteering for the next however many, I guess, 8 months.
8 months.
So thank you all. With that, I'm going to make a motion to vote in favor of Mandy Pomeroy to be the next board member replacing Kerosene.
Can I get a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, and second. All right, let's open that up for discussion. Andrew, do you want to start the
Yeah.
discussion?
Look, I think for me, it was a pretty tough call. I think, the factors that swayed me in favor of Mandy, or the two main factors I would say are one, her history of commitment to education in the community, obviously an educator, but also the time and effort that she's put in with the PTO, as well as her involvement in Park City Education Foundation. The Red Apple is responsible for probably half to a third, depending on the year, of the budget for the Ed Foundation, which does a lot of great work here, as we all know, and her role in that has been massive. And to me, that was, that's a big factor. And then the other factor is that she's also registered to run in the election. And I think, for me, having seen this a couple times, it's a lot of work to train someone. It's a lot of work to integrate someone into the board. And I think for me personally, I'd love to see the investment in someone who may be able to continue on should she be successful in the November election. So those were the things that drove me to the nomination and to support her as a candidate.
And
Yeah, I would agree with him, and I just want to say how absolutely impressed I am with the candidates, and I hope it's not the last to see people, because I'm just thrilled that you want to come and help. It's not an easy thing to do, we volunteer our time, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, but thank you, and I'm thrilled with the range and the variety of your applications. I did end up, for the same reasons as Andrew said, going with Mandy, because of the fact that the experience in schools, substitute teaching, PTO, having the kids actively there. I mean, my kid's in the back right now, but just being in the school, the ins and the outs, the pickups, you see things, you can be boots on the ground. I think that is a big part of my feeling, but I really hope it's not the last that we see you guys, because tremendous. President.
Wendy,
Yeah, I want to thank you all as well. This was really hard. I think we can all agree on that. Really, really appreciate everyone coming in. Carlos, I love what you could bring, bilingual, the experiences you've had, really interesting. Thank you. That I thought was really unique. EJ, I think you were so prepared. You brought so many great things and interesting things to the table, and really appreciated that, because it showed the investment as well in this and caring about it and the community. Mandy, same thing. Thank you for highlighting how your interest in being part of the team and seeing this not as a one-person thing, that this is a big community with lots to represent. I really, really struggle with this. I think that for their reasons, I agree as well, as much just having been in this position before and seeing myself and the onboarding and the work it takes to build. I wish we could expand our board, to be honest. That's this moment, and have you all three, because I think you brought great stuff. I also would put forward, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that.
I think it's either way, yeah, or just wait for the
Yeah,
vote.
right. So that's what I have to say about all that. Thank you all. I appreciate each of you.
I can put forth the vote, and then I can, it's really hard. I have struggled for the last week with the decision at the table. I can't thank you guys enough. The last 2 years alone, sitting on this board have been pretty overwhelming for every one of us here. So to see community members willing to see what has been happening in the media nationally, but willing to come locally and step up to the plate here, especially to fill such big shoes is really awesome and incredible, and a testament to the community that we live in, that we have people that want to serve our community. I will put forth the vote to for Mandy, since that's on the table. And we can see where we land, and then if we have any further discussion, we can move for there. So all in favor of Mandy, say aye.
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 Okay, so that's unanimous. So we will move Mandy forward as the new board member. So congratulations. And again, I want to echo what Ann said. Thank you guys for coming, but we don't want to see the last of you. I mean, that we have lots of things where committees and different things come up, and we need community members from all walks, and you know, things are going to change and they continue to evolve. So please stay involved. And if you have our contact information and you want to get involved on different levels, please contact us. We'd love to get you guys involved more. Thank you guys all for your time. And then I will actually have Mandy come up, and we're actually going to have you take the oath and then join us for the second half of the board meeting, which starts at 6, which is a public hearing. So I will have, you want me to pull the table?
Yeah. You just want to be on the camera. And I'm now blocking it. Staging.
No, now you're blocking. That's better.
Way better. Okay. All right, so I'll have you raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mine?
No. So, I, Mandy Pomeroy,
I, Mandy Pomeroy,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
to the office of board member in the Park City School District,
to the office of board member in the Park City School District,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mandy, thank you. All right.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, actually,
Thank you.
I'm gonna, yeah. We'll come right back to everybody. I was gonna say, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
First official meeting. There's some measure.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You take the seat right up.
All right.
We'll have a little bit of a pause before our public hearing
Okay.
because we can't start it before 7. Yep, so we're kind of in a hole.
I will.
We can,
You will eventually, you will have schools, email address.
so actually just need to end this meeting right here.
We're- we'll just- we'll stay.
Or just stay on and then,
We'll just-
and then. and
We're
then-
going to recess.
Okay. Perfect. Recess till 6.
Sure, you just email them or text, you can send, you would like.
Thank you.
That is traditional. Right, I know I have. friends with my parents.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know.
I was in your
Well, we're excited.
I'm excited too.
Team stuff.
think we have a minute. right?
Yeah.
Okay, audience on. Audience.
All my questions are for you, so.
You have one question?
All.
You said all.
All one implies
Feels like a lot of pressure all of a sudden, Todd.
I was just trying to set it up, so.
Just don't set me up.
Yeah. It's all math.
Pretty sure his answer's gonna be
Well,
no, no.
he's one dad.
Yeah.
So you've at least,
He
he's it.
knows everything.
Yes, he does.
Ooh, you're echoing. Which is such a terrible noise. Don't really want to hear my voice first. Put it back twice. Coming back. Where are we at? One more minute.
No, don't do that, because I might answer the questions wrong now.
We'll take.
What is, I don't know.
You didn't answer it in the form of a question, Todd.
What is, what is?
I mean, I can't do my kid's fourth grade math. It's so confusing.
Well, that's a little hard.
Yeah.
That's a lot harder than bond math.
Yeah.
Fractions. We've done the decimals with bonds now.
It's just the newfangled way of doing it, right? It's all,
It's the approach.
yeah.
My wife teaches fourth grade math, and she tries to get me to answer the questions like, we can't do it the old way. I'm supposed to problem solve what the answer might be and then do the math.
It's reasonable, right?
It should all to be critical thinkers.
I think a lot of about critical.
The 13-year-old in our house. We will be like, do you need help? And she's like, no, you don't have to get it.
Yeah, anyway. Like, oh, great.
Like, you're right, I don't. I didn't know when I was in fourth grade, and I definitely don't know today, so we're good.
I didn't know the old way. I don't know.
Yeah.
the new one.
Yes, I remember my kids ask for help. Might as well just
Sometimes
give
it's
them the
fun
answer.
when they say, though, can you teach me the old fashioned way?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's fun, right? Can you teach
Yeah,
me the old
old
fashioned
fashioned.
way? And I'll show you the. you know,
Well, they never
new
asked
fashioned
long
way.
division the old fashioned way.
They all just ask Siri or Alexa for help.
You just Google it and it actually shows them the whole.
Step by
all the
step.
step by step.
Yeah. All right, so should we have to call to order this local, call to order the local building authority of the Park City School District. Will be authorizing the issuance of the sale of not more than 42 million in aggregate principal amount of the lease revenue bond. I'm going to turn the time over for Todd to make a few comments and then whoever's here to speak.
Great, yeah, so the authorization has happened. What we're going through today is the public comment period. So individuals of the community can come and talk to that topic and I guess ask some questions and we'll field those questions. But just to bring to your recollection, we had two main financing strategies. The first was the GEO bond, which has already taken place. And that funded 3 projects, which was the high school and 2 of our elementary schools. Now the revenue lease bond is for 2 projects. That is the Ecker Hill and the Harley's Park Elementary. So that's what's in that particular bond offering is the improvements to those 2 schools. And again, our last project was Trailside and that we're funding out of our capital reserves. So that's kind of the lay of the big picture. Today's discussion is the 42 million and comments that we might receive from the public with regards to that. And that's where we are. We ended up doing a private sale for the lease revenue bond. Zions Bank was the winner on the bids. They were able to match all of the terms and conditions that we had asked for in our bond offering. And that came together just really, really well. The TIC on that particular one is 3.07%. So we're going to fit within the estimates that I had for making budget balance. So that was probably the piece I was most concerned about is how do we make this thing actually finance all the way through. So that came out really well for us. So we're in a pretty good position as we move forward.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Todd, for all your work on that. I think we just have one. Josh, would you like to join us?
Sure, yeah. Thank you, guys. And I'll be fast. I'm just really trying to understand the lease revenue bond stuff. It does challenge both my fourth grade math stuff, being able to do it. So,
Oh, good.
in the answer to that question, I was wondering if we did that yet. So it sounds like it's been issued and it's been issued at 3.07.
Correct. And now we won't close on it till after this hearing. If there's any information that we need to take into account, we can do that. But the closing right now is set for, I want to say May 11th.
Okay. So 15-year, I think it'd be up to 21-year.
So it's a 20-year
Okay.
term.
All right. And what will be the total amount we spend on that? So I think I saw in one of your documents, it was like 42 equals something like 47 or 50, maybe it was 57.
Yeah, it's about $3 million in interest.
$3 million.
Is that where you're?
Yeah, so but the total payments over 20 years will be, it won't be 42, it'll be 50 something or
Yeah,
so,
well, glad you asked. I don't have that number. But yeah, that's,
somewhere, but
yeah, in that range.
okay. So another question, what are the revenue sources of the bond? I know, as I understand it, we've got the LVA that is doing the bond and it's covered by lease payments from the school district.
Correct.
And where's that new revenue going to come from? You know, I've heard lots of things from the community, but you never know. So is there a plan or are there ideas that where that money might exist? I know there could be new building, which could increase revenues, but what's the idea where that money's going to come from?
So you're talking with regards to the actual lease payments?
Lease payments, yeah.
between the district and the building.
The building authority, so basically just trying to make sure we're not going to increase property taxes, which I know you said is not the
Yeah,
plan.
that's my instructions from the board.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out where that 3
From the
million.
existing budget. So we can allocate that amount for lease payments on an annual basis as part of the budget.
Okay,
And that's available to come from capital levy or M&M. So it comes from our existing revenues. And that was part of the calculation that we did prior to going to bond was, all right, how much do we need to raise taxes on? And that was the part that we went to referendum on. And the rest of it comes from existing revenue source.
okay,
And then revenues grow from things like a TIF, or they call it something different in Utah. But as that expires in the city, that amount that was going to China Bridge as a, is it called a TIF? TIF now comes back to the district, so that
Like a
offset.
tax sacrifice or charge.
So that, so as we know that that is coming back, that's part of the thinking of the budget.
okay. Because the concerns I'm hearing are that at some point teachers like raises would be sacrificed to pay for the buildings. And it sounds like that's not the plan whatsoever.
No. So I mean, there is a tax raise this summer, but that's been in motion now for the last couple of years. And that is for the teacher raises.
But for all employees.
For all employees, yes, that we put in, yeah.
But that was something we talked about 3 years
Yeah.
ago. And again, like we have a relatively large budget every year. And we also have capital reserves, and we've, mostly due to the financial prudence of Todd and Jill, have done a really good job of running, for the most part, budget surpluses every year. And that helps go into the kitty, and prudent financial and fiscal discipline over the past really 10 years have put us in a position where we have the bullets to spend on the facilities. And our priority has always been to compensate employees first. And that won't change. But we've done that successfully the last 3 negotiations with all of our employee groups, and that will continue when we do the next one. So it won't really be in the same bucket, but it does give us a more flexible way to pay back lease payments than simply a geo bond would, which is, it necessitates a specific levy to pay for that, whereas we can use existing revenues, et cetera, for this.
Yeah. And you guys took the whole 42 million upfront, right? It was, because I think the option was to break that over a year. You could take that whenever you wanted, but that's all been 42 million through Zion.
So the projects that it's financing will be completed in the next 2 or 3 years. So it didn't make sense to do several offerings.
Especially with rates rising.
Yeah, because one project was going to be over 34 million and the other about 12, so it was like, well, how would you actually break that up in some logical way? And it was just, the timing is close enough. We're within all of the IRS requirements for a tax exempt bond offering, because you have to have those issued or expended within the 3 years of issuance. So we're all within.
All right, thank you for that. And last question, and I appreciate the time. You probably gave me extra, so thank you. How much do we have in capital reserves after we spend the 7 million on Trail 7? What's left there?
Yep, so we have about 13.5 million there now. That project's about 7 million. So we should have somewhere in the $6.5 million range. The object of that was to have at least 1 year's worth of tax revenue equivalency in the reserve. So we collect between 5 and 6 million a year. So we wanted to have at least that much still in reserves for any other unknown, unexpected needs of the district.
Makes sense.
And that's capital, that's part of the capital budget and taxes rather than M&O. So it's a separate budget and separate revenue stream that's only allowed to be spent on fiscal plan, capital projects. So that money can't be spent on
Future
a
research.
bonus or something like that.
It's got to be for buildings. And
Yep.
capital. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for the time.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
coming
Thanks for
in.
coming.
Thank you.
So do you have another?
Oh, I was gonna say, hold on a second, I'll have the answer to your other question about the total.
All right, I'll be here, yeah.
Okay.
I gotta wait for the excitement of whether you pass it or not.
Oh.
Has it already been passed?
It's been-
Oh, so-
Yeah,
oh,
so today's a public comment.
Oh, you just a public comment?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's anticlimactic.
I know, right?
Sorry, sorry to disappoint.
Have to come back.
Unless you want us to reconsider it.
I will make a motion to adjourn till our regular session meeting on Tuesday, May 17th. As of right now at 4 p.m.
I make a motion to adjourn until our next scheduled meeting on May 17th.
Do you want to second that? I would love to second that.
Perfect. All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.